Welcome back to Unsolicited Life Advice. We're so excited that you're back. Quick update on the story from last week. Look, communication's incredibly important in relationships. And without caffeine, I'm not capable of communicating at my peak, let's say. So look, I finished my plate of eggs, put it in the trash. My wife hands me her plate because she's eaten as many eggs as she wants. I polished those off in probably half a second, really. And then she puts new food on the plate. Her question is, where's your plate of eggs? And I'm thinking she's talking about the plate that she just handed me, which was hers, which doesn't look the same now that it has the new food on it. And so just complete misfire on communication. Happens all the time, right? But I need caffeine so badly in the mornings. I literally should have coffee before I make coffee. Otherwise, the mistakes and messes that I can make are just amazing. I remember I used to use a hand grinder to make my coffee, and the top actually it had a small crack in it. I didn't realize this, but that crack allowed the lid to bypass the lock when it was functioning. So mid-grind, the lid comes off, and it just goes, this brown cloud of coffee. It was everywhere. It was on the counter. It was on the sink. It was on the floor. It was on the side of the fridge. I even had like a brown racing stripe across my chest. It was insane. I, of course, make some like weird sound, something between like a groan and a scream. And my wife's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" To which I'm like, "Please do not come in here." I literally have made the most impressive mess I've ever made in my whole life. Now, that was back then. I have made more impressive messes since. But yeah, so next time I'll tell you a story about how the time that we murdered a Smurf, but that'll have to wait till next time. So today we're going to be talking about the hamster wheel of life. No, this is not the circle of life. It does not have any redeeming qualities. It's far less life-giving, and it doesn't even have a cool song. When I was a financial advisor, my clients came from all different walks of life. I'm talking different backgrounds, different ages, you name it. But they all had the same base issues, at least on a macro level. Life is hard, and all too often, the daily grind looks like running on a hamster wheel, just trying to keep your head above water. Between paying bills, working, and just trying to maintain a household, when do you have time for self-introspection, self-care, true rest? The reality is we're so focused on the short-term rat race that we rarely have the opportunity to just pause and assess. So I decided when my clients came into my office for their annual or biannual appointments, we were going to pause and assess. We're going to step off of the wheel and take a good look at their life, because when were they going to have an opportunity to look at it once they got back to the daily grind? So the first question I would ask them is, we're not guaranteed to live tomorrow. Are you satisfied with this being the end of your story? Yes, I know that's about as dark as it gets. But the reality is, if we're trying to avoid regrets, we have to think about what those regrets will be. Otherwise, they will happen. So let me ask you, if this moment was your last, are you satisfied? Now, if you need to, pause the video to really think this through and dwell on it. But the reality is, if not, let's work together to change that. So I've said before that memories are the true currency of life. And they are the goal. They're what we're seeking after and what we should be striving to make and remember. But they aren't the only currency that we use. In fact, there's 3 currencies that we use every single day: time, energy, and money. Now, when you have time and the money and energy to enjoy it with, that is where the greatest memories are made. And most people will tell you that their goal is to have all 3 at the same time. That's what they view retirement as, kind of thing. The problem is American society doesn't naturally afford you to have all 3 of those things at any point. What do I mean by that? Well, in your early stages of life, you have time, you have energy, and no money. In the middle stages of your life, you've got energy and money and no time. But at the end of your life, you have time and money and no energy. This is a recipe for disaster. You're never going to get what you want. As a financial advisor, I would handle a portion of the money aspect for my clients, right? We would diversify the investments to protect and grow them. Then we'd run several analyses to gauge how we were doing. We were looking at, return on investment, average annualized return, return versus major indexes, return versus inflation, and so on. But when was the last time we analyzed our return on investment from our time and energy, or even the money that we don't have in investments? I know I don't analyze them anywhere as much as I do with the investments, even now. So for me, I'll give you an example. I started analyzing the time and energy that I was spending on social media. Yes, I know you're probably watching this on social media right now, but maybe this is exactly what you need to stop the scroll. Remember, I genuinely care about your success and your overall improvement in life. If that means you need to stop watching this video, go for it. Yeah, it hurts my metrics, but who cares? You can always come back later. All right, back to social media. I realized I was investing my time and my energy, especially emotional energy. These are two of my most valuable non-renewable resources. We talk about fossil fuels being non-renewable, but there's still a heck of a lot of that stuff that we haven't pumped out of the ground. We get one shot at life. One shot at today or even this moment. So what was my return on my most valuable assets? My return was frustration, anger, and annoyance. Sometimes I even walked away with not good thoughts and opinions of people who I know and genuinely care about. Talk about trading my treasure for trash. So I really started analyzing many of the other daily activities that I was doing in the same way. And it became a very humbling exercise that allowed me to really refocus myself on what was truly important. The only way to obtain all three of these things at the same time is to step off of the wheel. And you're going to have to do it by force. So, in the early stages of your life, this is going to require you to save a lot of money. You're going to have to be smart about the way you spend it, maybe take sacrifices on some of those big picture things that you want in life in order to have some of these memories now. That said, there's also the option of finding low-cost, meaningful opportunities. A great example, the U.S. has so many amazing national and state parks, and they're really just begging for you to explore them. And, again, incredibly affordable. I recommend making a list of the attraction in your state and the surrounding states, and then separate them out into things that are within an hour, within 2 hours, or 3 or more. And surely there's some that should surprise you, the things that you didn't know existed, and begin checking them off. It's a great opportunity for you to grow and experience your world around you. If you're in a relationship, you've got kids, you have family, it's an absolute blast. In the middle stages of life, this is going to require you to take time off of work in order to do the things that you enjoy. By work, I don't just mean employment. I mean, it could be simply just pushing your household chores off a day. Or if you're financially secure enough, hiring someone to take some of those time-consuming tasks off your plate. This is often referred to as buying back your time. This could be anything from having someone come in and do your house cleaning or chores, cooking and prepping meals, babysitting, or doing your financial bookkeeping for you. There's a reason why people trust financial advisors, not just because they know about investments, but because they don't want to do it themselves, and the time invested in research and all of that takes away from their family and the things that they actually enjoy. Now, in the latter stages, you've lived a majority of your life already. And your body and mind are not going to be capable of doing what you've done previously, or at least not forever. The key is making the most out of every moment. Yeah, that's true of all of them, but especially for the latter stages. You're likely not working, or if you are working, you're probably not tied to a specific location. So live close to the things that you care about. If you care about tanning and lounging by the beach, live close to the beach. If you really care about grandkids, live close to the grandkids, or as close as your kids will let you live to the grandkids. We have to live each moment as if it is simultaneously our last moment on this earth, but also the first step in a bright future for us and our family. This is a really hard balance to strike, I know, but we do this by analyzing how we spend our time, our energy, and our money. And we treat them as the valuable assets that they are. And we don't spend them on just anything, anyone, or anywhere. So, what time, energy, or money investments are you making that are yielding returns that you want to change? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. Thanks for watching this video. As always, remember to go make those memories with your loved ones while you're both still here. Thank you so much for watching this video and for supporting all of our channel. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. All right, bye for now.